What round they rise and fine ass?
You're playing touch butt with that dork in the park, the ponytail. And I'm the one who ain't got no training partner. I don't think so. You seem to have it all figured out when you're playing midget.
Damn it! 60 G's, baby!
Dust of Shakedown begins right now. What's happening, Fight Week Show fans, Fight Week Show people? Them we are back with another episode of Dust Up Shakedown. Boy, we have so much to talk about tonight. Salute to everybody that's joining us live right now. Everybody that's joining us on playback. If you're watching on playback, big up yourself. Thank you for pulling up. I'm riding solo tonight, at least for now. Anyways, but I just wanted to bring these conversations to you know what I mean. What's going on? What's been going on in the world of MMA? We've just seen the press conference between Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou, and I don't know what everybody's making of that press conference. I don't know who you think is going to win. We're definitely running the watch along on that on Friday night, straight after the prediction show. We're going to go straight from that, straight to the watch along. So make sure you're joining us here for that one. Big up everybody that's joining right now. Make sure you absolutely stamping on that like button. Make sure you're sharing the video. Make sure you're getting us out there. Salute to all of you that's pulling in right now. Right. Where should we begin from? Strickland, Ryan Garcia. You, man, make sure you're putting your comments in the chat. Salute to all of you. Make sure you're putting your comments in the chat. Big up yourself. Fight Week Showcase, Leroy, my bro. Hope you're doing good. Right. Strickland and Ryan Garcia. All right. So everybody, I don't know if everybody's seen what Ryan Garcia has been going on about. It looks like he's having a mental breakdown. His dad even said he's trolling, but trolling in the wrong way. I looked into it, man, and I thought to myself, how's this brother trolling in the wrong way? What, you know what I mean? What's going on? And we've got Ryan Garcia on and Andrew Tate's sort of spaces, and he's talking about when he was a kid, he got held down, and it was watching. He got made to watch other people like do wrong things to kids and stuff. And Andrew Tate was telling him like, bro, what are you talking about? You sure? Are you sure you want to be talking about these online? And Ryan Garcia's going on like, I don't give a fuck no more, man. I don't give a fuck. They've even had a meeting with me. They told me to stop. They want me to stop, but they can't stop me. They want me to stop. I am God. This is what my man is saying to them. He's saying, boy, I am God. And I thought, what? Like, Andrew Tate said to him, bro, I used to feel the same, but trust me, they can absolutely touch you. They can take what you got. They can take your money. They can make you lose everything. Look what they did to Kanye. You know what I mean? Look what they did to him. So he said, boy, you can absolutely get touched. So we see another video surfaced with Ryan Garcia talking about they frozen his bank account. They frozen his bank account. He don't have access to his money no more. And in the meantime, while all of this is going on, he's got a match booked, and Haney's still training. But Ryan Garcia is out here going mad. And Strickland always finds a way to weigh in on this stuff. Let's look at the quotes here from Strickland. Strickland says he admits he's a little mentally unstable, but I'll wake up some days wanting to strangle a puppy. This is the kind of things that Strickland is talking about here. Right. So he goes on to say no way. He says, he goes on to say, and I quote, this is Strickland's quote, not mine. He says his dad gets on top of his mom, and I remember he said, I'm gonna fucking kill you tonight. He said maybe it's just rough sex, but we don't know at this moment. He's under the bed, he's crying, and he's while he starts to strangle her. This is the type of things that Strickland saw when he was a kid. He said this on Big Japan's podcast, and you know, he's trying to say basically, Ryan Garcia, you need to look after yourself mentally. You need to look after your brain, because right now, this sort of stuff that you're spewing, the sort of stuff that you're putting out there, it's not good for you. It's not, it really isn't good for Ryan Garcia. Big up everybody that's watching live right now. Big up yourself, people. Salute to all of you. Strickland weighed in on Ryan Garcia, on what Ryan Garcia has been, saying on the internet, including Twitter Spaces. His dad is really worried about him. I don't know what's going on with him. He is determined to expose some bad people, according to what he said. I don't know where it goes from here. I really don't know. But he said the higher ups, they've definitely been trying to stop him. And if the higher ups are trying to stop you, we got a problem. We definitely have a problem. In other news, UFC 299, there's been word that Merab Valishvili is going to serve as backup for UFC 299, just in case something happens. But I do think Chito and Sean O'Malley, them two definitely gonna make that fight happen. It's something that Chito's been after for quite a while. I believe Chito, since beating O'Malley, I think O'Malley is probably his only professional loss, at least in the UFC, on his record. So, Chito will think he put that there, and he deserves that chance, at O'Malley. But again, when you look at the work that Merab is putting in that division, and that's why it kind of annoyed me a little while back. I was talking about it, that Merab, I think Merab should step in there with Aljamain. I think Merab, should take the, at least, even if he's not stepping in there with Aljamain, as soon as Aljamain lost, forget about the rematch. Forget about that rematch. That rematch is, you know what I mean? Put your rematch to one side and and go after the belt But he's saying it would excuse Aljamain Sterling if he wanted a rematch. He was gonna just sit on the sidelines and wait for Aljamain Sterling to go back, have a rematch, and on top of that, if he wins, then he doesn't even get a shot at the title, because he doesn't want to fight Aljamain in the first place. It was just a mess. It was an absolute ball of mess. But we've seen the sort of people that Merab has been beating along the way. These are championship caliber fighters. We just seen Henry Cejudo. What he did to Henry Cejudo in that fight, he literally sacrificed him to Zuckerberg. Literally sacrificed him to Zuckerberg. I couldn't believe it. Literally, he picked him up from one side of the cage, took him to the other side of the cage, dunked him on the floor, and just beat the brakes off him. Absolutely beat the brakes off him. But he didn't stop there. The same thing he did with Aldo, right? The same thing he did with Aldo. Aldo, I consider one of the greatest of all time, at least in the featherweight division. But Aldo dared to come down to 135 and compete, and he was having a hell of a run. He was having a fantastic run. And then it bumped into Merab. And we know what Merab's cardio is like. We know what Merab is all about. That brother is hard to knock out. It is hard to put away. And it will wrestle you. It will wrestle you. I mean, he's one of the best wrestlers. To do what he did to Henry Cejudo, who is an Olympic gold medalist wrestler. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Right? But then, all right, you say, okay, Aldo, you have to come from 145 to 135, maybe. But what about Piotr Jan? What about Jan? He did the same thing to Jan. He absolutely, dominated Piotr Jan in that fight. So, for me, I just think Merab really just need to look at his own career now and say, hey, I'm gonna absolutely smash this. I'm gonna absolutely, you know what I mean, take my career and put it first and just go for gold. Because it's not spring chicken no more neither, you know what I mean? At the age that he's at. Let me quickly look up his age. Let me quickly look up his age real quickly. I mean, I know Merab in how old is Merab? Okay. Yeah, Merab's 33, right? So, at 33 and you're just about to become the champion, like it's crazy. It's crazy. So at this point, I think he definitely needs to put his career, at the forefront of everything and really go for it. I just think it's crazy. It's crazy. Let's talk about Bobby Knuckles. Bobby Knuckles recently won his last fight, his last outing, and he's come out and explains um how or why he lost to the champion Dricos Duplessis. And after that win, we know exactly what uh, 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 Robert Whitaker is about. We know he's a fantastic fighter. We know he's capable of great things in that middleweight division. And one of my favorite display of him was him being in there, absolutely being in there with Yo Romero. And Yo Romero, them two going 10 rounds, two separate fights. Robert Whitaker broke, in one of the fights, he broke his hand or his forearm. And in the other one, he broke his leg and still went 10 rounds and still won. That's the type of fighter that Whitaker is. But coming to fight to fight somebody like Dricos Duplessis, he said, it was just about getting the belt back. This is what Whitaker said to MMA Junkie. He says, the goal never changes, not for personal reasons anyway. The idea that Dricos has the belt, I can get two birds with this one stone, right? So, he's just been in there with Paulo Costa and beat Paulo Costa. I thought he beat him very, very handily. In the last bout at UFC 298. So, you know, we've Paulo Costa now out of the way because Paulo Costa was supposed to be fighting Hamza, right? But that fight didn't happen for whatever reason. I think when you then look at the landscape of 185 right now, I do think Whitaker having a loss against Dricos and beating at least a top fiver like Paulo Costa, I think it definitely keeps him in that conversation. But he's still the best fight to still make at this point at 185 is Easy versus Dricos. But Dricos is injured right now. So if Dricos is injured right now, I think they tried to get him on the UFC 300 card, and and rightfully so, he turned it down. Like, no, I'm not defending my title injured. Are you guys crazy? You know what I mean? Want me to defend my title injured? No, I'm gonna get fit before I get back in that octagon to defend my title. And Dricos is right. I don't think he should be defending, his title whilst carrying an injury. Yeah, not every time do these fighters come into the octagon 100% fit. They're always carrying a niggle here and there. We talk to all these fighters all the time. I talk to them all the time. It's wild. But there's still that element of, if you're carrying a big injury that you think is going to stop you from actually. This is not just any fight anymore. We're now talking about title defenses when it comes to Dricus Du Plessis. He's the middleweight king right now, and there's a lot at stake for him. So there's no reason not to be putting himself first, not to be putting the title first, and making sure that every single time he steps into the octagon to defend the title, he is as fit as possible. So but we'll see what's next for Robert Whittaker. I really hope with this win that he got against Paulo Costa, that would at least set him maybe second in line for Dricus Du Plessis, and they can probably market it well. Maybe even do it in Australia. Who knows? But I would like to see them to get back to it again. Definitely would like to see them to get back to it again. So let's get onto this topic here. We've been seeing Michael Venom Page is a new one that's really been he's being put in the public right now. Oh, look who's here. Yes, my boy Yao is here. Yes, let's go. Hey, big up yourself, Yao.
Hey, big ups, brother Ola. How are you doing today?
Yeah, but I'm good. Big up yourself. Thank you for pulling up. I thought, you know what? You guys are 2 hours ahead, so I understand the struggle. I definitely understand.
It was that struggle.
I understand the struggle, man. I understand the struggle, and thank you for stopping by, man. I was just getting into the schematics of what's been going on in the combat world, at least this week, because we got a lot of events that's been going on this week. Plenty of events, and today we see the press conference between Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua. We're going to talk about that in a little while. We've seen what's been going on with Ryan Garcia. I've given my take on what's been going on with Ryan Garcia. We saw Andrew Tate. Both of them were talking on Spaces, and Sean Strickland is also weighed in on that. And on top of that, we got it's a big week tomorrow for EFC. So there's a couple of fights on that card that came off the card, you know what I mean? But one of them got saved by our very, very good friend Adrian Sanchez. We're gonna weigh in on that real quick. And what else we got coming up? The fight is gonna happen on Friday. You got the versus competition going on over there in South Africa that you're gonna tell the people. You got all of that going on. And to clean it all up, we got UFC 299 watch along as well on the Fight Week show. It's a mad week for Combat Show. Yao from Kick 'em in the Head is here. How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing this evening, Ola? Thank you for the amazing introduction. And like you said, there's a lot going on in the fight world right now. It's an absolutely jam-packed, amazing weekend, specifically here in South Africa, with the kickoff of the primary MMA season at EFC 111 tomorrow, which I'm really looking forward to. We've got a champ versus champ fight happening. One fighter going to become the double champ, fighting to become the double champ. I mean, you don't hear that often, double. So really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to our amateur promotion versus, as you said, and obviously on Saturday, UFC 299. Let's go, O'Malley versus Vera.
Bro, it's gonna be hectic. It's gonna be crazy. But before, because like I said, I've weighed in on quite a couple of the topics that we mentioned earlier on. But I wanted to get your take on what's been going on with Ryan Garcia, because Ryan Garcia is supposed to be at least in camp doing some work. He's got an opponent's doing work, but he's out here going nuts on the internet. He was talking to Andrew Tate about when he was 2 years old, he got held down and by some bad people, making him watch bad things happen to children. Bro, like some of the things that he was talking about, is just mad. His dad also came out say he's trolling, but he's trolling in the wrong way. But how can you be trolling in the wrong way? Trolling is already bad as it is. To then troll in the wrong way is absolutely insane. Bro, talk to me. What do you think is going on here?
I think when he says trolling, he meant he's trolling himself at this point because he's not trolling anyone else. I really don't know what's going on with Ryan Garcia. It appears to be some sort of meltdown, and I use the word appears very specifically because sometimes, as you said, in the fight world, you're not really sure, is this part of the gimmick, is this part of the show, is this guy really going crazy? And I think it all kicked off about 2 weeks ago where he appeared at some event and he attacked Haney. And if I'm looking at how it's devolved over the past 2 weeks or so, I could see why you could say he's trolling something or trying to stay relevant, but it's becoming what we would call worrying. But yeah, let's see what happens with Ryan Garcia because we really don't know what's going on. It's been just crazy, crazy messages, one after the other, on all kinds of platforms from Ryan Garcia.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think is going on with him at this point with
Right.
everything he's been saying?
I'm telling you, man. He said, "Look, I am God. I'm untouchable." And Andrew Tate said to him, "Hey, dog, I used to feel like that. Then I ended up in prison. They took everything from me. You are untouchable." So that's when you know you are touchable, man. It's like, bro, maybe you get off internet. Maybe you shouldn't be saying these things on the internet. And he says, absolutely want to expose all these people. So Ryan Garcia said, so Andrew Tate said, okay, all right, if that's the case, tell us who, where, why, where, tete. And he then pulled back and said, I'm not actually going to say all of that right now, but I got proof to destroy all these people on my phone right now. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, this guy is gonna get himself into trouble. Big up yourself, AFC. Always salute to you, my brother. Right? I think this can't be selling the fight. This is gone way too far. You know, when you start involving kids and stuff like that, it's gone too far to be selling the fight. So this is something else. This ain't trolling. Again, you know, it's gone past trolling now. It's gone past selling the fight. So one is either mental breakdown or two is really, really trying to expose the powers that be, if you like. And these powers that be, apparently they do really, really bad things out there, and he just wants to expose them. It's trending right now. It's one of the biggest topics on social media in the combat space. And Ryan Garcia, everybody knows this guy, very, very talented boxer. He got hands. It was only last week I was talking about Ryan Garcia. Shout out to Coach Coach Hayden, Black Panthers coach. Salute to Terrence Balelo. Both of them were here last week, and Ryan Garcia was talking about how he can step into the octagon and beat up a wrestler because he beat up a security guy. You know what I mean? In the wrestling match. And I asked him, I asked Coach, I says, Coach, does just having a little wrestling something with your security guy, does it equate to stepping into the hexagon and having a wrestling contest with a professional MMA fighter? It's like no fucking way that happens. So I don't know what's going on with Ryan Garcia. He's been doing a lot on this on in the socials, and bro, I'm worried about him. I really am. I'm worried. I hope he has good people around him that can try and look after him and just keep him out of the cameras for a minute. At least maybe refocus him in the gym, refocus him, on the fight that he actually got at hand, and for us content creators, like, we're talking about it now. You know what I mean? But at the same time, for mental wellness and for his own sake. You know what I mean? I don't want him. I don't want him self-sabotaging himself like this. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I agree, especially with where you said he was starting to say that he could easily defeat an MMA guy with what, a half a camp, 2 or 3 weeks worth of training. With his skills, he'll beat an MMA guy. Look, maybe he got hit too hard in the ribs when Tank took him down and his brain is lacking oxygen. But right now, we don't know what's going on with Ryan Garcia. It's a strange, strange situation. And hopefully he comes out of it soon and is better for it. And hopefully he gets to the fight and we have a fight, because that's a fight that I think the boxing world does really want to see.
Talking about the fight that the boxing world want to see, we definitely have one that's cooking right now. It's absolutely cooking. I saw the press conference earlier on with Francis Ngannou versus Anthony Joshua, AJ Joshua, right? And this is a fight that I very, very anticipated. On that card, there's like 4 title fights on that card, on the main card. It's crazy. One of the top ones, the co-main event, Zhang versus Joyce. When you look at those two guys, to me, I don't, you know what I mean? When you look at Zhang, is a big guy, and he knows how to throw hands. What are you making of that matchup there between those two? And I know you might not have vast maybe knowledge about these two guys, but I'm sure you know 1 or 2 things about them and what you're thinking about the matchup, brother.
I think one thing you said that's very interesting about this is the fact that there are 4 title fights on this card. That means that DAZN right now is putting on some great fights. They're really, really pushing to put on great fights. And that heavyweight fight is one of the fights that you look at and you say, look, I see Joshua versus Ngannou, but if we look at this fight, it becomes a very, very interesting prospect for people who love boxing, because both of these guys are skilled and both of these guys throw hands. So I think it's going to be a slugfest and someone's going to get put to sleep. So definitely, it's a good fight. Like I said, I'm not very familiar with them, but I look at their records and I've seen a little bit of tape on them, and yeah, it looks like it's going to be a very, very exciting fight.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I said Joe earlier is Joseph Parker. My apologies, people. It's Parker. So on that card, we have Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. The co-main event is Zhilei Zhang versus Joseph Parker. That's the co-main. Then Ray Vargas versus Nick Ball. That's another title fight. Then we got Islam Madrimov versus Magomed Kurbanov, which is another title fight. So many title fights on that card. And Gavin Gwayne versus Matt Chamberlain is another title fight. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 title fights on that card. Very, very interesting card. We're going to be covering it on the Fight Week show. Straight after the prediction show, we're going to be heading straight to that watch along. So make sure that you're sticking with us. Not tomorrow, on Friday, 9 o'clock, the prediction show, and straight after that, we're going straight onto this watch along, and Lee Gunner is going to be joining us for that one there as well. Salute to everybody that's watching live right now. Big up to all of you. Big love. Now to talk about the main one, Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. It's here. It's knocking on our door. It's ready to go. These guys, they had a stare down earlier on. There was a lot to unpack in the press conference, and I'm not sure if you've seen it. There was the questions asking Francis if he's feeling more confident after having that fight there with Fury, and there was a bit of back and forth between him and Fury. Where Fury, he said Fury. He said Fury said to him that he called him a coward, and he said, "No, I just thought I won the fight," and that's different to calling another man coward. That he'd never call somebody, as well respected that steps into the ring to fight another man. He'd never call somebody like that a coward. He said, but I can't think that I beat you, even if the scores say something different. But the back and forth was between them, and he said to Tyson Fury that you should be thanking the rules of boxing for protecting you. He said if the rules of boxing it's not there to protect you, you're nothing in front of me. He literally said that, like, you're nothing. I beat you every day and twice on Sunday. Like, what do you make to all of that, brother? Like, that press conference there was crazy. I don't know what you took out of it, but tell the people.
The press conference was amazing. And I think if you look at overall what Francis Ngannou has been doing since he left the UFC, although to be honest, I want to see him getting back to MMA, like great, go and box, Francis, great, but you're still the baddest man on the planet. Please go and take someone down, hit them with an elbow. I don't know, do something else. But
he has an opponent now. He has an opponent now from PFL versus Bellator. He does have an opponent. Well, that's one thing he didn't have before. But at least we know there's progress in that direction now because he now has an opponent in Ricardo Pereira. Please continue.
Fair enough. Renan Pereira is a big boy. He knocked out Ryan Bader so fast I was confused. So yes, Ngannou has a fight lined up, and I can't wait to see that fight. But yes, with the build up to this Joshua fight, obviously his last fight against Tyson Fury was an international sensation. We saw the battle of the baddest. There's even a documentary about it on Netflix, phenomenal, showing exactly what happened behind the scenes. So if I look at the press conference, this is a build up of what Francis has been doing since he left the UFC. It's a build-up of him saying, I am the baddest man on the planet. Yes, you, Tyson, you were somewhat protected by the rules of boxing. In theory, I kind of would have beaten you if a few of those technicalities weren't there. Yes, you're a cleaner boxer, sure, but I still could have beaten you. And I fully agree with Francis, where in his first boxing match, he took the lineal heavyweight champion to a full 10 rounds to the judges. And I mean, that alone is a phenomenal achievement. So for him to say that, I think he has earned it by being someone who could, if put me against any boxer, even an amateur, in my first boxing match, I don't care what coaching I have, I'm not going to be able to do that. So I think he's sort of earned the right to be able to say what he is saying at that level because he has done it and in a phenomenal way. And I think with how his team has been moving, how adaptable his team is with Mike Tyson and Dewey Cooper, I think they will be adapting to Anthony Joshua's style, and playing these little mind games works perfectly for them. Tyson Fury does it perfectly. Anthony Joshua's good at it, but I think the way that they're doing it really adds the pressure on someone like Anthony Joshua, who knows now that he has to beat Francis Ngannou convincingly. Otherwise, questions will then get asked about him, and he doesn't want that. So I'm really looking forward to it. That press conference was crazy, and yeah, it's going to be a heck of a fight.
Oh, fantastic. And, talking about Dewey Cooper believes, and this is what they've been training for. And during the open workout, they did ask Francis. I said to him during the open workout, we saw you hitting that heavy bag a lot. Is there a clue in that heavy bag? The way he hitting that heavy bag, it looks like there's a lot of body shot combinations that was going on in there. When you look at it, and they were trying to see if there was any clues. Maybe he's gonna attack AJ's body to try and soften him up and try and use that way to get him out of there. But Francis cleverly said, I'm gonna be hitting anywhere there's an opening. I see opening, I'm lighting it up. I am lighting up any opening that I see. And that's one way to look at it from Francis's perspective. Now let's come to Anthony Joshua, who is a skilled boxer, Olympic boxer at that, right? Knows every single inch of how to use that ring. He's obviously been in a couple of questionable fights with Andy Ruiz. Like, nobody's thinking that this guy would even lose to somebody like a Ruiz. And some of the fights he's been in, even some of the ones that he's won, but not won convincingly, he's kind of got him, people questioning him. But over his last couple of fights, He looked rejuvenated. But the one thing that AJ benefited from fighting Francis now is the fact that there's no element of surprise. They now can see what Francis can do in the ring. Talk to me about that from AJ's perspective.
I agree completely. When Ngannou went in against Francis, against Tyson, not only was he the underdog, but also no one knew what he was really bringing to the table. We only knew he was bringing amazing power, and that had to be managed if you're his opponent. So now that we've seen exactly what
Puncher's
Ngannou
chance
has to
everyone
offer,
was giving him. Puncher's chance.
exactly. Everyone said maximum 4 rounds, but I see it in the first, second, or third. That's pretty much what everyone was saying. Spot on. So if we look at the fact that AJ now has gotten insight to the technique, it means that he has a better chance of actually dominating and beating Ngannou, unlike Tyson did. However, that's why earlier I said, right now Francis is working with a group, with a coaching team that's very adaptable. So they would then at this point adapt Francis's style to suit fighting Joshua. So maybe Joshua, knowing what Ngannou's bringing to the table, might be his downfall, simply because now he's got only one look. He knows one avenue that Ngannou could take, and Ngannou would have taken a certain avenue against Tyson, against Fury. So I think that it's both a benefit and a downfall in knowing what Ngannou is most likely bringing to the table. But I think if you watch too closely, you might get deceived if you're Anthony Joshua. So I wouldn't watch Ngannou too closely. I would go in there and do what I do best as one of the best heavyweights of my generation if I'm Anthony Joshua.
100%. I mean, with Fury in the mix, right? With Fury in the mix, I still think this fight means something, at least for Joshua, right? This fight means something for Joshua, because this is a fight that after Usyk could get him lined up for Fury, because he's tried to get this fight together. But again, you go and lose to somebody that Fury already beat. At least the records say Fury's already beat this guy. Where does that then leave Anthony Joshua? Where does Anthony Joshua goes from there? Because this is a big risk, especially if once he finishes him the way we're thinking it could happen. Where does that leave Anthony Joshua in your eyes?
It's a trick question, because I want Francis Ngannou to win, but I think, like you said, the Olympic boxer will shine. Yes, he's lost against the Andrew Ruizes of this world. As good as Usyk is, I see Usyk probably beating Joshua, but I'm not writing Francis off. I just think maybe the body shots will work, but Joshua might just edge it once again. The rules of boxing are the rules of boxing, and they do tend to favor the traditional boxer. So if Francis can somehow overcome the rules, I think he can do it, because I think that might be what holds him back. So with regards to Joshua, I think this calculated risk does one of two things. It either shows he is one of the best because he fraud checks Ngannou, if you will, as a boxer, or it's time to say goodbye to possibly being one of the greatest of his generation, like you said, because unfortunately, if he loses this one, that risk wasn't a calculated one. It ended up becoming a huge gamble, and he might have gambled away his career, honestly, in terms of potentially getting another undisputed title shot. So yeah, let's see what happens for Joshua. But it's like you said, it's a huge risk for him. Huge. That's all I can say. It's a huge risk for him.
It's a big risk. Big up Luca AFC. Salute to you. Big up everybody that's watching us on Twitter. All of you that's watching us on YouTube. You're watching us on playback, Facebook. Thank you to all of you, man. Salute to all of you, man. I see all of you online. Big up yourself. Make sure you're sharing our video, and yeah, get our numbers up. Get our numbers up, people. Big up to everybody right Now, first, all right, we just finished talking about Francis and AJ, right? I want to shift gears. I want to shift gears into let me see, EFC, right? EFC 111. We've got we've we've got a lot going on that card there. And before I go to the title fights on there, I want to really talk about our boy Adrian Sanchez and Tapia Katikati. That fight they just got put together. Tonda was the one that was meant to be fighting. Was the one that was meant to be fighting Tapia, but he pulled out. And Adrian Sanchez, the son of Thunder, stepped in. Big up to Adrian Sanchez, good friend of the show. How are you really? How are you looking at this fight? Because it's taking it on short notice to at least somewhat save the card. Because there was another fight that dropped off as well. But we'll get to that in a moment. But for this one, these are fighters that are, we're acquainted with both of them. I know both camps. I know both people. I know their trainers, their coaches, all that stuff. So, how are you looking at this fight from your perspective without throwing anybody on the bus? Don't want to really put you in a sticky situation.
Kick him in the head. That's
Kick
all I
him
can
in the
say
head.
That's all I can say about this fight. These boys love going for the head. They love headshots. I saw Tapiwa today. I was at the weigh-ins for EFC 111. I'm absolutely looking forward to it. Shout out to the guys at EFC. Shout out to all the fighters on the card. And I must say this, big thank you to all the fighters at EFC. So today I was there and I didn't realize that I had lost my mojo and my MMA essence with the EFC having been away since last December. And being there at the PI today just really got my MMA spirit back. So thank you. Shout out to all the fighters for, giving joy to people who watch them do what they do. And as we always say, thank you to the fighters for putting their bodies on the line for our entertainment. It really does bring joy to a lot of people. So shout out to them. But this fight, these guys are going to go toe to toe, bang for bang. They are going to go mad on the floor. There's going to be takedowns, takedown defenses, head kicks, punches, jabs. I don't even know. This fight is just going to be crazy. I'm really looking forward to this fight because both of these guys, not only are they skilled, but they're also both very, very hungry. They are looking to hopefully get a title shot in the near future. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to seeing how they both perform. But skilled violence, that's what I'm looking forward to. Katikati's got a tank on him and he's got insane power. Sanchez out of Cape Town, as we know, he is skilled. We speak with Rayo all the time, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he does against Katikati with the power. But this is going to be potential for fight of the night. Definitely fight of the night.
Yeah, 100%. I am very, very, very interested in in seeing that fight. From when I knew that Adrian took the fight there, I thought to myself, okay, this is where we really need to look at these two guys. And yeah, please, you want to
and
say
the
something?
one other thing is we love short notice fighters because for me, my thing is always, if you take a fight on short notice, you're going to end up like Volkanovski. You're going to get struck by the curse. You're going to get kicked in the head and lose all your mojo like he did against Makhachev if you're taking short notice fights. But we've got Terrence, the Black Panther Balelo, as you said, who defeated that entire short notice curse by taking a fight on 10 hours and claiming the interim bantamweight championship. So Adrian Sanchez, I think he might do something similar. Being a big balls man to take on a short notice fight for me is always... that's when you know someone's a true fighter. You were saying, Ola.
Yeah. Let me just quickly answer this question here. What time is the Joshua fight? I thought it was Saturday. No, it's Friday. They moved it because of Formula One. That's going to be happening on Saturday. And the Saudis, they're big Formula One fans, and yeah, those guys are so rich. They want to be out there, so they need something more to spend their money on. And the Formula One is in Bahrain, and those guys want to get there, so they moved that fight to Saturday. So that's the reason why it's on Saturday. Saturday, 11 o'clock, I think, is ring walk for the main event between Francis and AJ. But I think depending on finishes, how quick the fight goes. We've been there before where they brought an artist and they gave us a whole halftime Super Bowl sort of thing that was going on. When we watched the Francis versus Fury fight, it was kind of like that. We got like a halftime Super Bowl sort of thing. So yeah, for me, it's going to be a good one. Now EFC, let's talk about Zulu versus Gift Walker. Right, like I said, we had a Black Panther and Coach Hayden here last week, and they said he was going to be ready. He was going to be the backup for this fight. But we now know you've seen both of them weigh in today. They look incredible. The stare down was fantastic. What do you think is going to be going on? In the fight with these two sound so confident. They want each other's belts, and they're coming for the finish. They're coming for the finish. But how do you see these two fighters really putting it together?
I think this fight is a fight that the EFC needed just to showcase the talent that they currently have on their books. So we've got in Kazumulo King Shaka Zulu vying to become something that you, and I wouldn't say rarely hear, something you almost never hear. He's vying to become a double champ. This would be the second time in his career that he'd be a double champ. So for what he's looking for legendary African MMA fighter status. So for him, the stakes are high, very, very high. He gets the double championship. He is most likely going to a contender series or UFC. Definitely he's going international. So for him, this fight is for all the marbles. Absolutely love it. We've got then Gift Walker, the current champion, who is an absolute savage. I saw Gift today and I said to Gift, I said, listen, before the last fight, before your championship win against Terrence, for me, I thought the weight cut was hard for you, so you might not have been able to do it because of the weight cut, because weight cuts can be very tough. And a fighter who can handle their weight cut well is a good fighter. And I said to him, I'm so impressed by the amount of energy and skill you maintain through what seems to be very, very tough weight cuts. So for me, if I'm looking at Gift, he is an absolute savage. He knows how to do what he needs to do. So for this fight, honestly, I'm struggling. I'm probably going to flip a coin before I make my picks, and then I'm going to go with that fighter because right now these guys are both looking very, very skilled. We've got Kazumulo, who's now at Team CIT. Yes, Team CIT, the one and only CIT that is currently the home of Dricus, still knocks Duplessis, the middleweight champion of the UFC. So the amount of pedigree, the amount of history, the amount of skill in this fight is a real showcase for the EFC. So wow. Yes, let's go champ versus champ. EFC 111.
It's gonna be mental. It's gonna be absolutely mental. The other fight that I was really looking forward to was the Bradley Swanepoel fight.
Yes,
and that fight has not fallen off. He wants to revisit it in May. You're a bit more closer to these guys. What can you tell us about that? About those two guys and what they brought to what we're missing by this fight not happening.
The Nightmare was supposed to be on this card, and it's such a pity the Nightmare Bradley Swanepoel is not going to be on this card because he's a rising star in the UFC. He's gotten quite a few wins on his belt recently after a loss that kind of put a dent in his rise to the top. But with these fights, sometimes how it happens. Fights fall off. We had Kelvin Smith as well, who was supposed to be fighting. Shout out Kelvin on this card, who had his fight fall off. We had Ntando the Zulu Warrior Zondi as well, one of our favorite fighters on the show, who was actually supposed to fight Charles Lamte out of Ghana. Big up, shout out Charles. But unfortunately, he also didn't end up fighting on this card. So I think this card, one of the cards where at the beginning of the year, a little bit of flux. There've been quite a few changes from what they've announced at the beginning of the announcement season.
Sorry, right there. Let me just address the rats that's just infested the chat. Big up to the rats. Salute to all of you. But I see the league gonna raid rolling in right now. Big love. Hey, people, as you're rolling in, please hit that like button, hit that share button. Get us out of there. I see you, Static, Graham, Caldwell, Off Red, Immortal Technique. Yeah, man. I see all of you, man. JV23, big love, man. Salute to all of you, man. Make sure you hit that like button for me. Make sure you're subscribing if you're new. And we already been talking about Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. Put in the chat who you think is gonna win. Let us know who you think is gonna win, how you think they're gonna win. Let us know who you think is gonna win, and make sure you're joining us on Friday as well for the watch along for that fight. Make sure you're joining us on Friday. Me and Lee, we're gonna be on the show together doing the watch along for this fight. Big love to all of you. Like you were saying, please.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the rats. I love it when you say the rats. It kills me every time. So yeah, shout out to all the guys on the card who actually are able to fight. But with all the cancellations, it's tricky to really say, why it's fallen off. Because I know when we spoke to Brad earlier this year in Jan, he wasn't supposed to be on this card. I think he was supposed to be on the next card in April. So maybe that fight just didn't happen for whatever reasons, contractual. Unfortunately, I don't know the details. We will speak to Bradley soon. But it's one of those fights that, we wanted to see Brad get off to a good start this year. The nightmare is back. But I guess he'll be back a bit later on, probably in April. But yeah, it's still an amazing card that the matchmakers at the EFC have managed to put together. Ashley Calvert-Lewin, Graham Cartmel, phenomenal. They're looking to definitely take the EFC this year outside of what is the equivalent of the Las Vegas PI, where it's kind of small and not really much happening. So this year they're going out. They're going to go to different venues. We're going to travel. So this year's about to be absolutely phenomenal.
All right. And your people, as you're in the chat, please put your questions up. If you wanna ask Yao from Kick Him in the Head, you want to ask him some questions, make sure you're putting it in the chat about some of the topics that we're talking about, especially when it comes to the to the Francis versus AJ fight. And make sure you're subscribing to Head Kick podcast. Make sure you're following his page. It's gonna be in the description. People, show some love. Right, let's talk about UFC 299, the main event. I mean, Sean O'Malley versus Chito Vera. These two, actually, before we get to that, because that's the last topic that I really want to touch on. There is something that I wanted to ask you about the versus competition. What can you tell us about that?
Versus 8 is happening this coming Saturday. Now, Versus 8 is a local South African promotion, still an amateur promotion for now, but they're looking to be the second and the biggest, well, I guess the second and the second biggest professional promotion, MMA promotion in South Africa. So they're having their 8th event this coming Saturday, and it's absolutely chock-a-block with fantastic amateur fights. Now, these guys that are in Versus as an amateur promotion, these are the guys that then get taken from there into promotions like the EFC and onto the international stage. So it's phenomenal to see these amateur guys. It's amazing to see these amateur guys plying their trade and working their craft. So that's what's happening this coming Saturday, Versus 8. For anyone who's listening, who's around the Johannesburg, Pretoria area in South Africa, definitely come through Heartfelt Arena in Pretoria, Versus 8.
Okay. What about the UFC card, like our UFC 299 card, like I was saying earlier on, Chito versus Sean O'Malley? These two, they've tangled before. Probably the only loss. I would say that's the only UFC loss on Sean O'Malley's record that got put there by Chito Vera. Now we've seen these two about to go and throw down for the title. Gonna be Sean O'Malley's like real first defense, and they've put Merab as the backup. What do you think to all that scenario?
Kick him in the head once again. Now, that's for Chito Vera, because we know what Chito Vera has done with his legs to people's heads. Now, I'm a big Sean O'Malley fan because I didn't think he was going to beat Aljo. I thought Aljo was going to backpack him and get him out of there, as Aljo says. But he check hooked Aljo, took him down, smashed him up. Lots of respect. He's got his ridiculous training regime that we've all seen on social media, which includes a bong and pink shorts. We'll be looking out for those pink shorts when he fights. But I think I want to go with Cheeto on this one simply because Cheeto has the history. Look, it's tough to call, especially because Sean is so unpredictable. But Cheeto is one of those fighters where he can take you down and he will fight you. He will mess you up. He will choke you out if he has to. I think O'Malley has the versatility, but I think Cheeto's just got this extra hunger in him right now. And it would suck to see O'Malley as a one and done champion. I want him to have a long reign, but whew, Cheeto's hungry, and the odds are saying O'Malley takes it, but Cheeto's sorry. Actually, the odds are saying that Cheeto takes it, but yeah, it's going to be a very, very tight fight, very, very close fight.
Yeah, look, I agree. Cheeto's very hungry. Now, this comment here says, Alfred, big up yourself, Alfred. This says, kind of get excited about modern boxing. In my day was Ali, Bogner, Joe Louis, Frank, Bruno, Holyfield, Eubank. I mean, you're calling some big names there, and that was a good era as well. I mean, I love that era too. But this today, it's like saying, I can't get with modern football. Like back in the day, there was no VAR. We knew what offside was. We knew what penalty was. We knew, we knew a lot of rules in football. Now we don't know what the fuck's going on. Neither does the guy in the truck that got all the technology to figure it out. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's just modern day sports for you, my old friend. That's where we are in modern day football. You just gotta embrace it. Don't fight it. Embrace it, brother. Embrace it. And for that fight there, Cheeto versus O'Malley. So were you leaning? What did you end up leaning towards? Did you say Cheeto? You picking Cheeto to win? I know you're saying you hate for O'Malley to be one and done. That's because you're thinking there's a very good chance that could happen.
I'm going Cheeto. I'm leaning Cheeto. Those two head kicks.
Kick him in the head.
Kick him there. It's that simple. Kick him in the head. He hit the bantamweight goat, Dominic Cruz with one. He almost cracked open Frankie Edgar's face with one of the first old man head kicks and that's my favorite.
Don't remind me of that one. Fuck hell.
That front kick is my favorite head kick. So I have to go with Cheeto Vera on this one for the head kicks because of the head kicks. O'Malley, let's see if you can do it. Yeah, I'd be happy definitely, but I'm going Cheeto.
Yeah, look, it's hard not to go Cheeto because I think he's got way more tools in the box to beat O'Malley. O'Malley has this one way to beat Cheeto, but the thing is, these motherfuckers always want to get drawn in and play O'Malley's game. They do it all the time. Aljamain Sterling had every tool in the box to beat O'Malley, but he wanted to stand and bang with him. Like, why? Why even take the risk? So and I know somebody like Merab ain't even gonna go in there and do all that bullshit if he gets in there. He's just grabbing him and just mauling him. I hope that's what Cheeto does because it definitely has he has that tool in the box. He definitely can do it. It's hard not to look. I'm gonna stick with Sean O'Malley. I think he wants a revenge for that loss that he thinks didn't happen, and he's the only fighter. One of the only fighters that I've seen say that lost the fight and say, "No, I'm not counting that loss. Fuck that loss." You know what I mean? So we'll see. I think for me, when you look at that loss, it was put there by Cheeto Vera. You know what I mean? He kicked him in the leg, didn't kick him in the head, but kicked him in the leg, fucked the nerve up, and boom, O'Malley went down. And my man went down there till the ref pulled him off. So that's a win in my eyes. But I think O'Malley is gonna want to get that back. You know what I mean? I think O'Malley is definitely gonna want to get that back. Yep, that's what I'm
I
saying as
think
well.
that
JAFC.
then the other fight that's equally as exciting, and sorry just to jump quickly, is the Dustin Poirier, the Diamond, versus BSD Benoit Saint Denis. Simply because I'm not the biggest Dustin Poirier fan. I liked him up until just after the Conor leg break, and then just how everything's transpired from then. I'm definitely more leaning Conor, but also because he just got kicked in the head by Justin Gaethje, So for me, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go with the other guy. So I'm really looking forward to seeing BSD, whether he's gonna get forechecked by Dustin Poirier, who might now be the new top 5 or top 3, whatever it is, gatekeeper. We don't know what's gonna happen, but that fight. I mean, what am I saying? This whole card is insane.
This whole card is insane. I mean, let's quickly have a quick rundown on the main card. We're going to be doing a watch along for that main card. People, make sure you're staying with us. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you have your notification bells on for when we go live on that watch along. This card is absolutely crazy. We got Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Vera. They're going to be competing for the 135 strap. The bantamweight title is going to be on the line for that fight. Then we got the co-main event. We got Dustin Poirier versus Benoit Saint Denis. Then on top of that, we got Kevin Holland versus Michael Venom Page. He's going to be making his debut on that one. Michael Venom Page is going to be on the card. Then on top of that, we got Gilbert Burns versus Jack Della Maddalena. That's another one. Crazy fight that we're going to be seeing on that card. It's going to be mental. And to open the card, this is just absolutely crazy. To open this card, Piotr Yan versus Song Yadong. These two, I mean, this is going to be a banger. This whole card, bro, don't get too cooked on that versus card, man, because this main card here is absolutely serious, brother. Talk to me.
It's mad. Like, you didn't even get to the prelims. There's a whole bunch of fights I want to see on the prelims. You didn't even get to the early prelims. There's a whole bunch of fights I want to see.
Macy Barber, bro,
Michel
Gamrot,
Pereira on the prelims.
Pedro Munoz, Kyla Phillips, bro, it's crazy. This whole card is absolutely mental. This whole card is mental. We're talking Michel Pereira versus Oleksiy Chuk. We're talking Ion Kitleba, Phillips Lins, CJ Vergara versus Amabayev, and we got Joanna Wood and Marina Morozov. There's a lot of fights on this card. This card here is just mad. Curtis Blades is fighting Jelton Almeida. That in itself could headline. It could headline a fucking card. That in itself, that one bout could headline a card. Curtis Blades versus Jelton Almeida. It's gonna be mad. I'm so looking forward to this card. Fantastic card, man. It's crazy. Look. Big up JAFC here. He's saying that card is better than UFC 300 card. Bro, I'm inclined to agree with him. I'm inclined to agree with him.
I'm inclined to agree with him, but the thing is, it's true. It's true. It's true. This 299 card is insane. It's ridiculous. Mad. You've got ranked fights all the way through to the early prelims. Only in the early prelims are any of those fights unranked, and that's an absolutely insane card.
Yeah, I love it. I'm looking forward to it. So everybody, make sure you're hitting the notification bell. Make sure you're hitting the like buttons, the share buttons. Make sure you're getting us out there. Thank you to all of you, every single one of you, from the raid, from the people that started with us, the people that are watching on playback, everybody that's watching on Twitter, everybody that's watching on all our other platforms, Twitch, Facebook, you name it. Thank you to all of you, man. Make sure you're following. Kick him in the head. The Head Kick Podcast. Yao is handles and everything is gonna be in that description. Make sure you're giving him a follow. Big love. And bro, let me ask you what you got coming up. In the very near future, what you got coming up and where people can really find you.
So, as I said at the top of the show, for me, having EFC back in season has just absolutely made my MMA soul happy. being around those fighters, getting their energy, being part of their energy has really gotten me excited for this 2024 season. Yes, the year started on an absolute banger with Dricus still knocks Duplessis winning the UFC middleweight championship. Now it's just been a momentum of amazing MMA things happening. So for us, we've just got more interviews coming with more amazing fighters, not just from the EFC, but from all over the world. We've got more collaborations coming with more podcasters like you yourself, Ola, the Fight Week Show. Shout out to all those guys doing amazing work in the MMA space. On Twitter, we are going hard. MMA Twitter, shout out to the MMA Twitter community. It's really live out there. If you really want to be on the pulse of what's happening on in MMA, MMA Twitter is the place at Head Kick Pod. Follow us there. And we're going to be looking at amateur promotions as well, looking at upcoming fighters who are doing amazing things. Shout out Ntana the Zulu Warrior, Zondi. Yeah, look, it's just going to be just MMA from very specifically the South African and African context and everything that's happening with regards to MMA here on the continent. So definitely listen, like, subscribe, comment at Head Kick Pod on all platforms.
You heard the man right there, man. And if that's not enough reason to show him love, he's also an Arsenal fan. Yeah.
Yes.
He's also
Goon
good.
Squad.
You know what I mean? So come on, go show him all the love. Go subscribe to his page. Go show him some love, man. You know what I mean? And you could do with your support the same way that you show the support over here on the on the Fight Week show. Thank you to everybody that's joined us tonight. Salute to all of yous. And up onto the next video. Make sure you're looking out for it. Hasta la vista, people. We're out. Salute.
And until next time, everyone, don't forget to kick him in the head. Let's go.
Kick him in the head.
The Fight Week Show.
Hey guys, this is John Anik from the UFC. You're watching